but like, come on, you got to make that more competitive. Carson Wentz looks like shit. Like, he looks bad, bro.
Yeah, he really does. He looks like he's running scared, I think, is the problem. That offensive line, I think they gave up, 7 sacks to the Washington football team in week 1. And he's just running around for his life out there. Still some injuries, of course, because it's the Eagles, so finally he got a nice game out of Miles Sanders. But, it's tough. It's tough when you're running for your life out there. Interesting matchup coming up. I'll tell you what, the Rams and the Bills might be game of the week in week 3.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about that. I was looking at some betting lines earlier, and I think I might have to put some money on the parlay on that one. Also, real quick, we wanted to show some hometown love to the Buffalo Bills. And Josh Allen, I got to give respect where I got to give credit where credit's due. This dude is balling right now. Like, over 2 weeks, he's leading the NFL in passing yards. He has tossed 7 touchdowns so far, 3 last week and then 4 in this game. And he's definitely took a jump from last year. Like, this Josh Allen compared to last year's Josh Allen is 2 times, 3 times a better player. And I mean, Buffalo fans, you guys should definitely be excited because it looks like Josh Allen has finally unmistakably proven that he's the number 2 quarterback out of that draft class.
Yeah, I think it's very cool to watch this guy find some success. I've always liked him personality-wise. I think he's a great leader. He seems like a great kid.
Yeah.
Sometimes it seemed like, Darnold's got a little bit of weird in him. If you've ever seen him talk, he's just not likable. There's something about him.
I mean, he's getting his brains battered in New York, man. Like,
that's why he's seeing ghosts all the time. But
yeah,
he strikes me as a strange guy. Allen just seemed cool right from the get-go. So I'm really glad to see some success there. If you would have told me that then Allen and Diggs would have led the league respectively in passing yards and receiving yards after 2 weeks, I would have thought you're crazy. It wouldn't be me if I didn't, reserve judgment until after this week, though. In fairness, they did play the Jets and the Dolphins, 2 teams who I think are going to struggle really big time this year. So I'm very excited to see what they do against a Rams team that's looked really good the first couple weeks. I think that's going to be a pretty cool showdown in week 3.
Yeah, I agree. That's going to be a really good game. I wish fans were allowed. I wish COVID wasn't a thing because Ralph Wilson, there's a new era. They changed the name back to something different now, right?
Very much like the Washington football team, it is now Bills Stadium.
Okay. Well, Bills Stadium would be rocking for week 3.
That is correct.
That would have been popping right there. So unfortunately, you guys got to rock at home, and we'll see. We're gonna talk about that on our Saturday morning episode when we do our lines, of course.
Absolutely.
All right, and 2 more games I wanted to touch on really. First of all, the Chiefs and Chargers. Did you I know you obviously you had to hear about it by now, but the news on that game with Tyrod, how he was going to be the starter for that game, and then literally last minute, the minute before kickoff, they're telling Herbert that you're going to be starting the game and Tyrod can't go.
Yeah.
And sure enough, man, the rookie, he went in there and he went toe to toe with Patrick Mahomes. And dare I say, he pretty much outperformed Pat Mahomes for about 55 minutes. Of that football game. And, Pat Mahomes just has that Mahomes magic in the fourth quarter and obviously leads that comeback there. But I was very impressed by Justin Herbert, man. He looked really poised in the pocket. He showed good command of the offense, although on some plays, I was watching the highlights, you could tell that he was kind of fucking up. Like he was doing a play action. He went the wrong way to the running back. He had that bad interception where he threw it across his body instead of running for the first down. But other than that, man, he looked really good.
Yeah, for a first-year guy, he looked really, really polished. He looked a lot bigger than I thought. He looked big, but also had some quickness to him. He looked like more of an athlete, I'll say, than what I think I may have previously given him credit for, which was kind of cool to see. But yeah, I mean, how much more can you expect out of a guy? 22 of 33, 311 yards and a touch against a pretty darn good Chiefs team. I'll tell you, with him at the helm, it sounds as though Coach Lynn is going to go back to Tyrod if he's good to go. So that's interesting.
I don't know why you would and I like Tyrod. I like him a lot, but you just seen what your rookie quarterback was able to do against the defending world champs. I think he pretty much earned to at least get another look as a starter next week.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing might be is that the two, I'd have to think, have very different styles. Although we looked athletic, I think Herbert's going to be much more of a strong pocket type passer, whereas Tyrod gives you some movement out to the edge. But yeah, Herbert looked great. I think that's a tough division, man. It really is maybe the best division in football. I think the Broncos were another one of the teams. We didn't really mention them, but in our opening about the injuries, but Drew Lock and Cortland Sutton are both out. They lost Von Miller before the season started. So that's a team that's decimated by injuries. Otherwise, they'd be very tough. And you're looking at the Chiefs and Chargers, who both look very good. And of course, the Raiders, who played a great game against the Saints. That's one of the games I wanted to speak to a little bit momentarily, but I think the Chiefs are going to be very, very good moving forward. I think they're going to be very tough to stop. Their offense looks efficient, and they make it look easy out there a lot. Whereas, you see other teams, they might put up some points, but when the Chiefs get into the zone, especially like you were talking about that fourth quarter, that's a scary bunch right there.
How about that kicker, dude? He nailed 3 straight 50-plus yarders. He hit the 54, and that was nullified by a holding or false start. And then he hit a 58, but that was nullified by a timeout, and they hit another 58 for the game. Like, what the hell?
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. I'm watching, and, he hits the 53 penalty, hits the 58, but they ice the kicker, hits the next 58 for the win, and they carry him off the field. I mean, what a moment there. Just really cool. Fun game, really fun game to watch.
Yeah, it was.
If I'm being honest. It was a cool game.
It was. And the Chargers always play the Chiefs tough. So those games is always, excuse me, those games is always pretty tough to predict. And then, yeah, man, we wanted to wrap up this segment here about the Saints and the Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders opening up their new stadium, which that stadium is dope, man. Like what they call it, the Death Star.
Yeah, it's really cool, isn't it?
Yeah, that joint is dope. I got to see that in person. Hopefully within the next 5 or so years, but that's going to be on my football bucket list. But shout out to your boy, man, Derek Carr. He was looking good. You called it. You definitely
called it. I've called it. Some of the guys that I called in the preseason, I called Jared Goff, and I called Derek Carr. So far so good through 2 weeks. Derek Carr looks legit. I thought it might take him a little while to get a team around him. Who I thought was just a standout in that game is Darren Waller.
Former Baltimore Raven, by the way.
Is he a former Baltimore Raven?
Former Baltimore Raven, baby.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine Mark Andrews and Boyle and him out there? Oh, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
What I said was that Waller looks like a wide receiver. He looks like a big wide receiver out there. He's fast. In the past, if I'm being completely honest, I don't watch a lot of Raiders football, so I apologize, Raider Nation. But, man, he looked athletic and fast, and he just looked like he was a man amongst boys out there. Waller looks like the real deal.
He came into the league as a receiver. He was a receiver coming out of college. And when he was with us, he transitioned to tight end. And we had him on our practice squad. And then I guess one season when we played the Raiders, they seen him practicing or whatever. And then the Raiders, after the game, signed him from our practice squad to their active roster and then gave him a shot, and he took it and ran with it. He had a couple of drug issues. I'm not sure what his drug of choice was, but he cleaned that up, and now he's is he a top 5, top 10 tight end in the league right now? You can easily make that argument, top 5.
Man, looking at it, he might be top 3. I mean, he looked really good out there. I couldn't believe how athletic he looked. A lot of times when you see highlights of tight ends, it's like, they're catching that 5-yard touchdown, so it's hard to see how athletic they are. I think of like a Kyle Rudolph's big ass catching like a 4-yard touchdown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so I kind of thought that's the player that Waller was. But it was very cool to watch him over the course of a full game. Ended up with 12 catches. Just looked like one of the best players on the field. So that was cool to watch. And kind of sad moment for me, bud. One of my guys that I always really liked watching just looked like not the same anymore. Mr. Drew Brees. Just
by not the same, do you mean old? He age.
I mean, old and slow. And what a lot of people accused Brady of last year was, not being able to throw that deep ball anymore, right? Not being able to push the ball downfield. I was a little nervous week 1 But the game script for them week 1 went where they didn't really have to go all out and air it out. But he had trouble getting it to Michael Thomas. The one deep pass of the game to Kamara was from Taysom Hill, right on a flea flicker. So I was a little unnerved there, and I thought, okay, week 1, shake it off. Thought to myself, some of these old boys might need an extra week to knock off the rust, unlike some of the young guys running around. But yeah, he looks like he's not the answer.
Dude, I told you he's done. Like the Saints, the Buccaneers, like these teams with 40-plus-year-old quarterbacks. If I'm in their division, if I'm the Falcons, well, maybe not so much so the Panthers, but if I'm in that conference, I don't fear these teams no more. Like I was sitting there watching the game last night, and I'm wondering, like, why isn't Oakland just pressing everything? Because he can't push the ball down the field. Like he can't push the ball down the field more than 20 yards. Otherwise, it's a floater. Like it's up for grabs every time. And like that limits the Saints offense so much. And albeit Michael Thomas isn't there, which also plays a hindrance on them because now Michael Thomas can't take a little 5-yard pass and take it 25 yards. I mean, this is the Saints right now. Their offense is just, it's the perfect fantasy offense. They're going to throw a lot of completions as short. They're going to have a lot of yak yardage and things of that nature there, but it's going to take fucking 13, 14 plays for them to score a touchdown. And Alvin Kamara looked awesome, but the man he had to be worn out after all the action that he was getting, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you, for a guy that likes to run deep routes like an Emmanuel Sanders, who they couldn't push him the ball at all. I'm not even sure he finished with a catch.
He had one catch for 18 yards.
Yeah, one catch. Not much happening there. And it just seemed like it reminded me almost of when Cam played hurt last year with that shoulder and couldn't push the ball downfield. That's just what Drew Brees' passes look like. He really did not look like the same guy. It was definitely visibly different from the way he was for most of his career.
Check down machine, man. He's a check down machine at this point in his career, and it's sad to see because he's such an awesome quarterback for a majority of his career. Now he's just a shell of himself.
It seems like it may be now I'm seeing why the Saints went out and got Jameis Winston to kind of sit behind him. I wonder if they saw this coming at some point, that this guy's going to fall off this cliff. And I'm telling you, this keeps up. And with a pretty good Saints D and a pretty nice team with Kamara and Thomas around him, I wonder if they turn to Winston at some point. I really do. I think this is Drew Brees' team. I mean, they might not make that move, but this keeps up. You might hear some calls for it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I said on Facebook yesterday, I would not be surprised if, I think it'll be Taysom Hill. I think they'll give him the shot before Jameis does.
You think so?
Yeah, I think they'll give it to Taysom. I think they'll give him a shot, the first crack at becoming the new starter for that team. And then I wouldn't be surprised if they make this change. Like if this continues and this offense is being this limited, like it's to the point, like you said, they got to run flea flickers to to throw a deep ball with Taysom Hill. Like it's ridiculous. But I would not be surprised if, like, the Saints, if they go and let's say they lose 2 out of the next 3, I would not be surprised if they say, you know what, Drew, we had a great run, but we're going to go in a different direction to try to save our season. And that might be the end of it. So we'll see, man.
Yeah. We
will see. So, yeah, that's pretty much all the games I wanted to touch on, really. Shout out to my Baltimore Ravens. We handled our business against Houston. Looking forward to the Monday Nighter. Vikings are bad. Vikings are the Vikings. Let's play a game real quick, Rueter.
Okay.
Let's play a game real quick. This is right off the cuff. We didn't even talk about this. Let's play who's going to be the first head coach to get fired.
Oh, that's a fun game.
Because right now there's a few teams like that are just so bad, and I don't know if these coaches are going to make it through the full season. Ooh. So I got a couple of names on my list here. First of all, starting in Detroit with Mr. Matt Patricia, who ever since he took over for Jim Caldwell, by the way, Jim Caldwell went, I believe, 9-7 his last season in Detroit before getting fired. And now Patricia gets brought in and he's been shitty. But nonetheless, I think he's on a hot list after getting blown out by Green Bay. I think that Mike Zimmer might be on the hot list, even though the Vikings made the playoffs and have had success under him. I just feel like Kirk Cousins, like their marriage is he's just going to lead him into but not having a job. Adam Gase, I think he's got to be the betting favorite right now. But yeah, man, who are you putting your money on as the first head coach to get fired before the end of the season?
Well, You see, you presented a question to me, and then you named like 17 guys.